Chevrolet.
Now, 11 at 11, nonstop news and weather on 9 on your side.
Now at 11, a deadly crash. A plane plunges into a Madeira home.
And went right straight down.
A seemingly normal day turns into panic.
You never think it's going to happen?
Tonight, brand new accounts from people who live nearby.
Flames erupted and it didn't take long to be engulfed.
Plus a new view of the fiery crash on the ground.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, we know investigators are on the scene. They're trying to figure out what caused a small plane to fall from the sky and crash into a home.
Yeah, and breaking in just the last 90 minutes here, Ohio State Patrol identified the pilot who died in this crash. He's 62-year-old David Sapp. No one else was on board at the time, and police tell us everyone in the home is safe and accounted for. First responders also rescued 2 dogs from that home.
Chopper 9, the only local helicopter getting you breaking news first, gave you this exclusive view of the damage to the home on Raleigh-Mead Avenue. That smoke from the crash could be seen for miles. Late tonight, investigators told us the plane caught fire after it struck the home, not before.
And tonight, we have extensive coverage about the moments leading up to this crash, the plane involved, and also witnesses who saw that crash happen.
We have live team coverage. In fact, we begin with 9 on your side's Jake Ryle with the investigation now underway. Jake.
Tanya, we know that FAA and NTSB investigators are going to be out here at the scene right now. The purpose and the intent for police is to preserve the scene as best as they can with all of the evidence that they're going to have to sift through, and for this investigation to shortly begin. It's 3:18 Tuesday afternoon.
911, what is the location of the emergency?
The calls pour in.
An airplane just crashed into my neighbor's house.
A what?
An airplane.
And went right straight down.
Definitely came down.
Okay.
To the nose side.
These callers, witnesses to a twin-engine Piper airplane crashing on Raleigh-Mead Avenue.
And I think we just witnessed a small plane go down. It was like stalling out, like popping and everything. And then we just watched it nosedive behind our house.
Madeira police and fire arrived to the scene 6 minutes after the first 911 call.
Found the plane crashed in the backyard on fire. It had crashed into a house through a tree in the backyard.
Inside the plane, a 62-year-old man killed.
We have been able to confirm that everybody that lives in the home has been accounted for and is safe, including 2 dogs.
Fire officials believe the pilot was operating using visual flight rules and not a flight plan, which ultimately will offer less information for investigators. The focus now turns to what caused the plane to crash.
All the right people are here to do this right. And so what happens, though, is, and we're prepared to do this right, but it takes time.
Now, speaking of time, officials say the investigation could last several days here at this scene. We are expecting to see NTSB investigators coming tomorrow morning. For now, reporting live in Madeira, Jake Ryle, 9 on your side.
Jake, thanks so much. And here's what we know about the plane involved so far. As Jake mentioned, that plane is a twin-engine Piper PA-31, very similar to the one you see right here. The plane is registered to a Mississippi-based company called Mark Incorporated. A company representative says the plane was used for photography and surveying. Investigators say the plane was headed for Lunken Airport when it crashed.
I ran out of my house and I asked the officer, I said, was it a plane? And he said yes.
Now on 11 at 11, neighbors describe the very moment that crash happened just feet from their own homes. 9 on your side's Kristen Swilley joins us live from Madeira with how neighbors are coping with the aftermath. Kristen?
Yeah, good evening, Craig. People here are left with a mix of shock and sadness as they describe the moments after this plane went down.
This is so unfortunate that it did happen. I'm really, it's just so sad.
Jenny Brock says a prayer every time a plane flies over her Madeira home. Tuesday afternoon, her worst fears came true.
I mean, the whole plane was covered in smoke. The top of it was off. I couldn't see the cockpit.
And it is the moments before the fire started that stick with her.
My immediate reaction was, should I go in and help them? And I feel really guilty that I didn't.
Neighbors knew a crash could happen in their neighborhood, but no one here expected it to hit quite so close to home.
I heard a loud crash, and it was an extremely loud crash, and so went rushing downstairs, and there was a plane sitting in my neighbor's backyard.
This was the vantage point from Carter Wade's backyard.
Flames erupted, and it didn't take long to be engulfed.
He called 911, but quickly realized it was too late.
Anybody who was in the front two seats of that plane would not have survived if there was anything left of the front of the plane.
Other neighbors captured what was left after the crash. In awe, no one besides the pilot was killed.
The heavy part of the plane, the engine part, is embedded in the house, in what looks like an extension on the back of the house.
Never seen anything like it, that's for sure. Yeah, hope I never do again.
Now, Jenny Brock, who you just met in that piece, says the two dogs inside the home we've been talking about that also made it out safe were with her while they waited for the homeowners to return to the neighborhood. Reporting live in Madeira this evening, Kristen Swilley, 9 on your side.
Kristen, thanks so much. You might not know this, but a plane crashed in Madeira in 1983. 9 on your side covered the crash when it happened. In fact, you're looking at video from the scene. The pilot and 3 passengers on board all survived.
I was inbound to Lunken, had the runway in sight, and all of a sudden the power just came off the airplane.
Did you run out of fuel?
No, I don't believe so.
The NTSB says the plane crashed into trees after the engine failed.
Well, 9 on your side is still working to learn more about this crash in Madeira and what caused that plane to ultimately go down. We're going to bring you updates as soon as we get them, both on air and online at WCPO.com. Now at 11, the fate of David Dooley is in the hands of the jury. Jurors will continue deliberations in the morning. Dooley was convicted of murdering his co-worker Michelle Mockbee back in 2014. That conviction, though, was overturned when it was uncovered that video evidence was never turned over to the defense team. And that defense has argued that there is nothing definitive to tie Dooley to the murder of Michelle Mockbee inside Thermo Fisher Scientific's warehouse. The state, though, says there are too many coincidences to ignore.
This is a circumstantial case, but with any circumstantial case, when you bring the constellation of pieces of evidence together, that's when you can reach your verdict.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it's not a question of did he maybe do it? Did he probably do it? Or could he have done it? Oh, maybe by process of elimination, he's the only one that could have done it. That's not the standard. The standard is proof beyond a reasonable doubt that he did it. And they have not shown that to you.
9 on your side will monitor deliberations tomorrow. We'll certainly be sending you a push alert to your smartphone as soon as we get word of a verdict.
Okay, let's take a look at your 9 first warning weather update. As we do, we have some clouds around the area now. No rain, but that's coming in for tomorrow. Let's bring you up to date right at the moment. Mostly cloudy skies and 43 degrees. Light winds outside. Temperatures won't be dropping too much here as we head toward morning. In fact, we'll probably fall in the mid to upper 30s and mostly cloudy skies. A few showers, it's certainly possible. Then they'll be isolated as we go through the day with some mostly cloudy skies and mild conditions. Temperatures into the 60s in the afternoon tomorrow. It'll feel pretty doggone good around the tri-state. Now, the bottom line to the forecast, some showers coming up on Wednesday, and then it looks like some heavy rain, the potential for thunderstorms, and then some much cooler changes coming in for St. Patrick's weekend. I've got the details on that coming up.
All right, we'll see you in just a few minutes, Steve. Well, new at 11, the family of Nicholas Sandmann is now suing CNN for $275 million. Sandmann is the Covcath student at the very center of that incident at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. Now, in the lawsuit, his attorney, Elwyn Woods, says, quote, CNN's agenda-driven fiction about Nicholas and the January 18th incident was not only false and defamatory, it created an extremely dangerous situation by knowingly triggering the outrage of its audience and unleashing that outrage, end quote. CNN declined our request for a comment tonight. You can read more details, though, about the lawsuit over on WCPO.com.
We have new information tonight. The city of Cincinnati files a nuisance lawsuit against the owners of the Terrace Plaza Hotel. Mayor John Cranley told the 9 on Your Side I-Team a lawsuit was imminent 2 weeks ago. The complaint says the high-rise building in the heart of downtown is a menace to public health, structurally unsafe, and dangerous to human life. So far, plaster has fallen onto a passing car. A water pipe also burst, flooding 2 stores, including the hat store Batsax. We reached out to attorneys for the building's owner tonight. We're going to let you know when we hear back.
Coming up, controversial law. The governor of Kentucky signs a bill that will make it legal to carry a concealed weapon without a permit. We're speaking with people on both sides of the issue. And a deadly plane crash. Another one to talk about here. A plane plunges into a Madeira home, killing the pilot on board. We're still following breaking updates in the investigation. Details when 9 on your side at 11 returns.